the UKR counteroffensive shaping up amid attempts to destabilize Russian forces. It says that well-trained, well-equipped UKR combat forces are now in assembly areas close to enough to frontline areas, meaning they could launch a concerted attack on Russian positions in a relatively short time period, according to Western officials. In the meantime, Ukraine has already increased its offensive operations both within its own borders and in Russia and beyond, in order to attempt to create a more favorable conditions ahead of a much-anticipated counteroffensive. By the way, how did they even know that this whole counteroffensive thing was going to happen? Why would you say out loud that we're going to do this huge planned attack and everything else? Wouldn't that be in the top secret category? Like, we're going to plan a counteroffensive, and it's been months of planning this thing. So we are expected to see some massive, just go in there and steamroll all over everything. Dex, go ahead.
Well, if I recall correctly, when those leaks came out, remember the leaker that leaked all the intel? When those came out, the plans were part of that. What was leaked, when the plans were going to happen, and they had to change the plans. Now, I don't know if that was all part of the leak, and that was their way of making the plans have to be changed and be pushed off and pushed off and pushed off, or if that's true. But that's what the story was back when that's how we first sort of heard about this whole notion about this counteroffensive. Outside of the media talking about it speculatively, then it came out in those leaks that there was one, and then they scrambled, and even Zelensky was like, this kind of is, not a good thing that this person leaked it, because now we got to change our plans.
What a crazy photo they used here. If I was in any military, I would not want to run one of these things. That's a badass weapon there, but it would be a target too. It's like you'd be sitting there and then all of a sudden something would come out of the sky and just obliterate you. But yeah, it is part of a bigger plan that says the troops are fleeing, said Prigozhin in an audio message posted online. It's unclear whether fresh offensive actions by the Ukrainian military will evolve into larger assaults on the wider areas of the Russian front lines, or whether they are more localized, or even diversionary operations aimed at testing and wearing down the Russian defenses in preparation for a more substantial offensive later on. In an online briefing this week, Western officials cautioned that even though UKR now has military weaponry and equipment it needs to punch through the Russian lines, a large-scale assault could be still weeks away. They've been saying this for, it seems like, forever. But yeah, that leak, and then also Russia accessed the U.S. satellite with all sorts of data on it too. I remember that came out last year too. So who knows what they actually know and how much of it has changed because of that. And then Russia claims Ukraine is launching major attacks. So at the same time, they're saying that it's still weeks away. Russia is again, first it was Prigozhin, and it says Russia again claims that they are already launching major attacks. Kiev accuses Moscow of misinfo. Dex, do you want to cover this and the next one?
I'm telling you, this whole notion of this counteroffensive is like the biggest mystery of the year, because we don't know when it was going to start. We don't know if it's actually started, and even the enemy has said it's there, but it's not. And what's funny is that, on one hand you've got Russia saying it started, and then you've got on the other hand Kiev is coming out saying no, it didn't start, and y'all stop talking about it. Y'all shouldn't be talking about it. It's misinformation. Kind of crazy.
Well, not only misinfo, they're literally saying they shouldn't say that it's already started. We don't know which is true, or if either one of them is true. And apparently UKR has a network of sabotage agents in Russia and is sending them drones for attacks, report says. UKR is believed to be behind a network of sabotage agents in Russia smuggling drones into the country for a series of attacks, U.S. officials told. It's always CNN, by the way. The U.S. officials, if they want to get something like this out, they go directly to CNN. It's always CNN. And it says several unnamed U.S. officials believe the May 3rd drone incident above the Kremlin was among several attacks carried out by such agents, the outlet reported. Russia has seen an increase in mysterious attacks and suspicious incidents on its soil ever since its invasion, many of which have taken place at strategic locations such as energy facilities within reach of UKR. Most recently, the border city of Belgorod came under a series of attacks that have been claimed by anti-Russian dissident group of the Liberty of Russia Legion, which opposes the invasion of UKR. UKR has not claimed any connection with these groups or any responsibility for any similar attacks. Nonetheless, such actions are helpful for Kiev, as the UK's Ministry of Defense assessed on Friday. Russian commanders now face an acute dilemma of whether to strengthen defenses in Russia's border regions or reinforce their lines in occupied UKR after the Belgorod attacks. It says UKR does not have a pattern of making coy or celebratory comments about such events. UKR's security spokesman said that its head, Vasyl Malyuk, is saying, "We will comment on the instances of cotton only after our victory," according to CNN. Cotton is Ukrainian used by slang term for explosion due to it sounding like pop. We've talked about that before. Last time they used that when I swear it was when one of the flagship Movosk, whatever that ship was called. That's when they had a whole article about the word cotton. Not even kidding about their slang use. Cotton will continue, Malyuk added, per CNN. And I feel like it was a CNN article too. And it was around the same time where they made jokes about when the place blew up and they were like, oh, maybe the Russians were smoking a bunch of cigarettes and lit something on fire. And that was like a funny joke or something. Like that's the humor. That's the humor when you don't have free speech. Humor when you don't have free speech is like, oh, little Russian doll. There's a smaller one inside. Oh, and then there's another one. And then another one. Another one. Make sure to go check out the energy systems. This is the best way to back yourself up. If you don't have a backup for your power in crazy times like we're in right now, I'd highly recommend getting a generator. These are solar generators, so they're stealth. They're absolutely quiet. They can be run inside your home, and nobody's going to hear them from 3 blocks away. They get unlimited power from the sun. Go to marfugglenews.com/energy and make sure to use the code Marfoogle. If you use that code, you'll get not only a special discount, but you'll be helping us out. Looking outside of my window, seeing a crescendo. I'm not going out there where apocalypse roams. Looking outside of my window, seeing a crescendo.